زي ما نقول تاي انسولانge chagi ma regina Arsa ma forsa non era il tutto. Kita utul le kamal mungkerte al amra sulla ruba Dios. Pelangan tangat beluaf kita belu belau mate 11 kita ngara belu mimoklo kira per ruba Dios. Same time kada kita kamal mera sulla Dios rajel. Pelangan tangat tani kita amle masangat tiam lomre galbui ya klok kada mera sulla لو مليو جيدا ميت جاي جيدا بروح نامو لو كليشة جيدا لول غرال جيدا من البانغرين ما سولير فلان سو تيرتي على قطرو لا يقدر سوسراي بدول مرقلاي مربول بلاو بيلوم بيرقلاي مرسيل بلاو بريزيدنت را سينات هوكونس بوليس مربول سيناتورز سبيكر كاناي مربول ديليجيتس governor Palau مربول governors Speaker Thomas, Speaker sa Garbekal State, Marbekal Leitors, Marto Gobet sa Susigi, Mora Arbekal Adar Belam, Nangarablu Rangayan, Mora Hocharigi, Mangarablu Grand Seeds. Egida Matmanu Real Tutawal, Marasa almost full cabinet, Martia, Ramugada Vice President, Minister of State. Minister of Justice, Minister Mafem HRTCD, ma Special Advisor Regidra Education, ma Minister MPII. Direga malungir tutau. Tela hotel loptoi seladra media, amagedra tutau makoramal malkoram wilan udal mesek mir rogui. Tiang a competition, ileng Akwaseng amna ni a games amna ya tele ram gi kala adan metwa ba magami na mo decide ngir mang naseng na mo girin mera press conference la kamol motita akor da maral waise mangmaral tokal wadi acknowledge team na tablo mo ngal tigal al get ngartiam magotrule welcome garbil alons camera mga ay ma nalday tulop malungil tutaw diregal Olgari ngidrudul sang. Of course, alila da kono se kau ngartila ka ngarti kidel bita ko. Ngakon mo da kono se martila bangya me ngwak lang ngarti sel bita nganti ka tamal mring aswile ngarti. Diregal ngarak kamera la bangya Adrian Patrice taramal nga sa kalboy gelo mo sa rigidra a kamera ma Mary Oh, Mary gida Mary ngarsel el control la camera gidra al tutao a Mary alulgo. Of course ay ar nga gidra lo mangeda mo. Kadman men asul tigal mi gidra da bes tra pro tigal mi gidra adlo mi gidra gidra so wala mi dia. And you know kada dirigan mal mo matter tir masel restra team gidra mo ser gidra during the games. Is one kada kung saying nothing's ever perfect. Digumra lo sa temple race rabar coverage ra games. Of course, ang batokal kakaro sa venue, toka coverage loro, landing maram nga sulir klamrea nga artire. Kumra lo ase ngirmang angaria hope lo ase future is covered. Adang. Aso mo mo idea ase ngaria arsil kut mukla uror mo. Sulage Lailani ma Jennifer lo mga al tutaw mo. Kadamral nga sulir rogul ngartia. Kora dit pigil mo mskida bebir updates legida last Wednesday kada mal kora dimlo albangara tokora games sel press conference legida mang diklutel do el omreng al saul el more athletes sacrifice ra temir dim nakadil temela games ay gaul mura au alela aur material coach lo material tournament directors material bekel volunteers mar officials tira rule games man si loader and then kada more other avalu from the media and more organizing committee and more material igal bekel state governments and lot mage un certel altokartel kladal merablur belo agumra lo aseng sel otisel klibel argi device amlo mo oltel games sel do mesa igel social media mal mred sel do mesa igel rogul postra triel ساليد الملا ملا قلبا غاغروس الميت دي مساد رخلب غليل بلاوما hospitality البلاوما اما تشفان دي هيد هير من دي اوتيسل واسي قدمرال كذا قدمرال ادر بلاوم قدمر اوتيسل ترتر ادر بلال يلو بلال موغوت راندير and with that di so kalwa se igida ukal bangara imorak adal mel mara artel maral merra mang wera domura press conference and di so kalmo ngateal mo saying sel executive order 495 etiang executive order to create the organizing committee el girela abela al hoster sel 55th Pacific Island Forum el nia morira el almelo ay albuil ra 2026 tianga dodonglil blur bela mlo member 1999 seguida gida amle hoster sel agotem adang mlungulmura 1971 ملاني تويدر بلون من أدال إلى 18 1999 كده عمل فرصة الهوستر ديال الفوروم اللي لوت عمل هوستريرا 2014 اما إلى ال 2025 كده الموت ماتيال المهوسترين قد مرينا سولير رادرا فوروم مسكت ديال تيال تيانا غاريا 18 داسين كاغارو سبلورا باسيفيك أدال yang ada lui matang al adra igal gagro sebelum rabu adal tirawal al partners tigal igal 18 al blue al may kita mending lo sing tiang adir al betul al adra igal gagro sebelum ame rebelau usually ngarar tal tela al madrin al adra mera igal forum ese Minister of State. So, klo lurior kat magil, namogil lomu urior. Magadulungit ra Minister of State, Minister of Public Infrastructure, tiga moterul co-chairman ergid, urolo Minister of Finance, Minister Vice President, Justice, Education, HRCTD, Agriculture, Tirigan ngaria representative or officer president, rubugul belaw, governors, speakers. Tiriga motmak, uram tiradra blul, mo sel organizing committee, el girela amat maktad el merigid el girela igal tegal games, ha forum. Kadangal tangateng already betok avenue rigid. Kada adi mochi anye gut mokl, moltakar tirigala. You know, one of the things kada kora mal no samariya vice sera last week mlengel president tele volleyball association ra ablul af nge based ra Lucerne Switzerland sera almengo ase etial bela na mosel ortaga international sporting events mosel me suggestion ni ase release le youth under 20 world event tel bonira tele normal ka parga rasa al seper radi mared they're thinking maybe possibly next year dia umra lo se geida gel teal el gida when qad hosta gal momrek in open up gel bes el teal el gida mo hosta other international events tirigal modur tigel adra track and field mlanin geluk mredra track and field oceanial mlartiang in wase gida medirigal si adal el mo hostra aseluk oceania cup واخلقا tournament director مقد مال مدينة واسي سواد الهوسترا قا اوشيانيا كاب سواد اللغة المتمال تيال تشوغن فيلدر يد ما ترى ملي سجشن يجد الاوفيشال سان ارتين واسي make sure ان يا ويل rules انت قال ير مونيا skate border بيبولا track and field you need to take care of it self first lane track and field block it off malaga lola ringa mang akmeder hacer adrablo amalo hace mo ingragi mo sperter track and field umralo hace sel u trigal longora federation rigid mangel trigal ukol ngaser rigid amalo hace بس كمان time game rule like rules مثل the open and say the maintainer tel track sel mal da samria ringi trial federation ringi da tragan fil da mal musel mul ngara al ma responsibility ase agi mo manage ringi make sure it's maintained to the highest level mun se adros per ringi gila to tournament mgada kada mal sodro peringi mal adro ablo speri and treat it with care mun se adro kamang lo speri al digadil gira da adro belau diri kad hosta tournament tamang umra sending adi kada bel time tira remula yel rules mo openeri kada mereng asuli wase tanang usen ngara wase agi make sure agi manage ringi mun se adro mol lo speri at high standard man get us in practice and ready for tournaments so ملا mo South again di tegida hadik sign tial executive order number 4-95 bon merege okay Pero kita malam sangara games mudira se media koram ne note se game noria te lam el mitra adro el bira galulaw mlani leadership meeting nirmang et leadership meeting ala qotta history leadership meeting lo qotta le gadab le tedim le ala ngal modul momre se mata doran mom sa yakyu oile mang ngorang wil sel do meeting lo ise ka to di mes ma da gelon tidma di qasing adire kal mungil te alle langaleng one of the things mes adro li am mes adro mitra adro el bi le kada gidam de se kada mamur te regular session er gid es el wal ngara de lot bdi se liosang ang argidra 2026 mase mlodar san di rural mlodar san besogal di brief radro albira glula igel tokol ngara al sel tira ko mase kumira ka sisak mana kum dira la somin musad mungil te le de la agora di gatakla bebira tokoy moklen mura adra bluleng I think most importantly igel close issues el gida adra bela البعض and we need to discuss ندير رجال اللي discuss جيرة الأب مهالك قرادي ماذا سيجي النارا تيال budget بيل قرام كلو تطير جيرة الأمس سيل دونغورا يوسانغ أمسيندرا أو دو سيسي وندي سيل ملونغو ترى السيل كده أمدني لو سيرا last year سيل budget بيل أملي include سيل 10% increase المورا يجرقوا salaries را other order al supplement must supplement saya amle moktek mang because ay del increase ang ari engir del adjust budget regal back el ministry including a state government ma court ma PCC that's all included sila ayos ang angal to make sure accommodated for mang sea umraseng asel overall sea protocol increase ra budget gida dire kan lo mesagel priority sergid lo seng ara igel gida gira del gut mokle smisi but one of the things el dire gal dombrania se namo gida stat el pay down igel nia blals el sedro sentir ng arbab olngil nia mga taklablu bela el gada tral malasbel الواسه سيل كيجي نجيل بيبر عبلال سر عبلور بلا الجيد أجيرد المحلار سيل فول يمال مكلو إمباكت ريجيد المرايو سان أنغرجيد for example جيدا مساعدة الال راجع قد مساعدة عن 12 مليون أير الدول توب دنيا لجيل repayment ترى لون رجيد هذا continue تيال trend لقد بيدان أير بيبر عبلال when we hit 2028 2029 قد مساعدة عن 18 مليون أير هذا هاراري نغير بيبر علون رسمه ترى pay off ودون صادر سيل نيا دور تبدري رابك الرخ رايوسان أنغرجيد البيرالون ديرغل الترى أول مال بلان ماس أختي مسكمة قراشاسين أبلال 200 مليون سيل 1% interest رالون إن 2 مليون سيل لناس المو 5.5% and the interest بلان ماس المو 11 مليون that's the impact المرايوسان أنغرجيد so that's why the debt management is so important and so el momento el yo sang regel besel o bisel ngar al sela budget one of them is debt management one of them is financial ومثلا قالوا besel tora finance ay ulang betul bisa cybersecurity, address agal issues that we're facing and how do we do them better. Mang mal umra sa kom amla mesang wat sumari question. We're here to discuss. Again, abay more interesting again policy issues on our side. Establish number one retirement age, mandatory age at 65. So, ang will dapat taklil wase ngarang al sila la relang ngaram kada change sel mo 65. Ela pension has a mandatory retirement age of 60 in the law. So that means yang ngidil adal swala uro lang lakra 60 adal sebel. Unless gida President Rablur Bela lusi aleren mora pension emlatur kara board ra pension alawril continue lorior. In fact el al time ng lakra erul dart tel af amlang lakra rira 60 el continue lorior kablemente sorry lorior. In fact there's even more sorry continue lorior. Hindi based on the law and they technically they can see lorior. And sometimes at the order 2 years at kasi mrong namada girul el mutel ala still lorior. We have to be honest with ourselves. Namong songs are other below. Om sa vacancy our bullies, om sa vacancy our sensei, om sa vacancy hospital, and things songs. That's why trigal other willing loader. Let's let them work. So first loader is mandatory age of 60. Adi allow a pension and namodel limited by tial wase. Can they work beyond 60 or not? Now, one argument can be well, ela trigger la motit mong model retire material magkakalada model sin maigaluro. One of the things el gida miruring tia ulo kadam le adjusted tia age mo 65. We know wasea pension needs reform. Pension up to kabel it needs reform, and part of the reform that it needs changes el board agirel gutmo. But aborda dilur mamla say we cannot make the reforms that are required within pension alakam adjust ra age. Naragel reforms al sorin muru. Sorin muru real say whether lima more flexible. At suma adas wala mo 65 and sell mo 65. Al swal retire at 55, let them retire at 55. I got him, and then they're go the more adjust again percentage and earn raise a retirement, base riders loader. And that's a fair way to do it. I can't maldir more to ordering. Based on how much you contributed, that's what you should be expecting. Ngiral mo flexibility ra mang. Ako na yun ngari solid di 50 retire guys. So let's let them retire at 50. El bora private sector ukl lower. So one of the things that we have to change by law is this. Arrest amal di regulation or pension gutmo. Tara do dongali Kida ulurom kila blue ram rigel lulungit tra $20 million. Well, $20 million el mail help ra pension. Pension I get reforms that are required in pension as ela di board gutmok. This is the only thing el dekal sela board gutmok liling mra sela la. The term mandatory is probably not the right term. It just sel original mle so kalumuti kasi pingabatim laka age. Hindi kasi wala I guess at certain point and they can say that mereadum this so aloro government forever will have some limit maybe there is an age ngari tigal flight attendants are united and lamo 80 tigal flight attendant but more judges so there's some argument to say there should be an age temol was a right makasama di oral forever. So I think that's that's why you have to have some limit in there. But I think overall goal giving people flexibility and ultimately giving the pension board the tools el tira si rulil kut makla pension tara gira del momruni sel ideal was tirigel maral mesois mo besa la government. And even trigger ngar I'll sell up to 15 years. Morgol mo borogol mora 401k plan or sell do saying defined contribution plan. Wala ka naman sel 20 million, say, masasira udo da sa edelo dokyar, murgot trigel less than 15, amoy liak. Kita mo albang sel blal sa pension, which we estimate to be about 10 million a year. Gida mo sa semong alel bela, gida del harari, take care retirees until they retire. We have to start somewhere. Kicking the can down the road. You want to make sure system retire and do them. That's the problem. And we have to fix it. Same thing on Atokora SS. ISS in the past kadam smart tell di $50 bere kung benefit rabi and all of these excessive benefits el doro samarat create a problem ra SSL model sedel el take care. In fact sera 2021 minister tutul egida amle conduct a symposium ra amayon. I know media dire kam participators say sel symposium amle exercise no mesra SS ro say tiala ela lora lang by 2032 engian amla bankrupt. So there's changes that need to be made. Sera the top dra mayong I get recommendations and will be the actuarial everybody said it needs to be 9% a contribution or employee, 9% a contribution or employer nga flexibility ra SSL increase and decrease based ra economy to ensure wasing sustainable tel fund. Say they want a recommendation. The other recommendation say get raise a retirement age. Say SS, the pension. Say SS. But at the same time you can be flexible or say retirement age. Assuming you want to retire at 60, you can. Hindi wa amrigen. When you retire at 70, you get more than if you retired at 65. Yeah, you have to provide the flexibility. Sorry, loader, so let them work. The other thing, el gira de lomes seguir tial tora SS, mnamo de gira del $50, deka basis ni hindi. Yeah, I'm sorry. Kadiri rutra feeling makora all the sweat. The best way to do it, the fair way to do it, based on wage inflation. Misal oral morba do dira adra lower. That means a contribution or tiram lamaran morba. Misal oral contribution tir morba betriga other retirees. Mendira kalgiren mara lau do dir morba balor tira karsegid tal mara. Elagi tadim le raise ra ISS $50. Idim na kadroy so do dira adra blue matya in balance ma. Igel all sis bak klol masong sa igel to. Mang adolas menuruni atran masamok. Makmani na sing maloptingel. Optingel at about 9%. Madi proposal lagi dem ro olbila se may at least them consider 8%. Ese dungun mora other order it's equivalent to 1%. And what's happening this year? Our other order government tamas do dira 10%. So 1% out of the 10% is a sacrifice ang dos ang gikare. The other order private sector are getting another 75 cents increase. Budget bill di ka nga siya gida romes sa ay ga akakaringi ayos ang arigit ile time national government ayos ang top dra 2 million and subsidize ra SS partial policy loans el dingilara ADB diluga da say you need to reform regal SS mde ka top da subsidy el more SS ay it should be self-sustaining. We have other issues like pension that's bankrupt, like PUC that needs help, like all these other agencies that need help. So, like fiber optic cable, you know, I have to be honest, they're writing a letter said, postpone, defer a payment, I got a loan or I mean, this is the reality that we face. Yeah, who's ultimately on the hook? National government. So we have, if it doesn't expand, then how do you pay for all of this infrastructure that we got loans to borrow against? So, I got sell overall goal yid, kasi magarang the West Agel maklol gida al level make sure ISS a pension a manmol MCC, but at the same time sel burden ra yosang ang rakabalment trigid in the future ada trigid belong sa ngasim lakal ukl bankrupt rakabalment trigid bola kasi dal operate igida. So it's a balancing act. Makmal mereka sudah ada olbi the look plus ir meng sayel el lontid, and we want to work with them and try address aygal el issues. Some of the things el kita makatatang el direk el address, and we haven't really had any reforms to them. I want to sell el permit rather than the blue lord al sila blue vela. You know, 1992, I did a field study in my Sirakana graduate school at UCLA, Rebelam. And the field study was on foreign investment, minimum wage, foreign labor. Sell time, I give recommend that more albira kalulalo ase. The ideal system ra sell to manage our foreign labor, we should be charging at the minimum $125 a month. And more every foreign worker ang rablu urbelaw. And that way, they may be provide although the more WIA, more igel, kakarosa training programs will help government smisi scholarship, smisi on the job training, discourage our employees, our employers hara the blue by mo samran hara other bela. Anyway, that's 1992. So just to give you an idea, $125 times 12 is $1,500 a year would be a foreign labor permit. Siya, may proposal around 1992. We're now 33 years later. Sell foreign labor permit adrik $150 a year. So sell proposal I say at least at the raising in of 500. We're not asking for 1,500. We're asking for 500. Remember, Amnar Olbil, trial Vice President Olo, Amnar Olbil, trial double on sell time from 150 to 300. But I think it's time. I decided all the blue amla increase and continue maran moklo. Malde kablu dollar igal to investment try kablu beral merbelaw. El diol sis bra all the blue. Egida abo masang artire. So right now sell full 150 amora the scholarship. So concept I say raise that to 500, but if you pay for a 2-year permit, you pay 900 for 2 years versus 300 that you pay today. So naramang sila budget bill ay part ra yosang al cedros pel mo kortial governmentary. The other thing that's in the budget bill, Mlaria Angaramong, the time Angaria $5 allocated out of the PPEF and more a PICRIC. Either sila the hotel passer sell a PPEF, and dimla kaudo del more PICRIC, and dimla kaudo del more marine law. Kado maral was a illegal udo dam legir more pension. Lingira dem lisi ra pension at tiel blan sa dong takriya pension na dimran moklo. So Gyumra was say sell $5 needs to go back to where its original intent was. Ra adogot el pasarala emrogol repeating il changing. And 50% niya amora airport, 50% niya amora pension. Ilang raul a PICRIC sell dong ra igal to environment like the $100 million sell do sa from the Bezos Earth Fund. They're willing to give monies to NGOs, but they're not willing to give monies to the government. So, by other focus, I got NGO give, and Mulaudo that I give the NGOs that have money, fund I give the program, I give a Miguel Udo del Dolab, take care of close issue, give the what pension. Nalsang airport today, Naramong, one of the major sources of revenue airport, they get airport fees. Ayan naman ako collect, they get more sell, besel, piyak. Sell over at $2 million remote airport, operation airport. I get to collect the fee airport at about 500,000 because I get 3.5 million before I'm RTL Airport Corporation, PRTL made a $40 million loan. Get a Harari LLCs. So these are things that we need to correct. So I will tell budget bill. Saudi is trying to help correct ay gida mla so isabra alsen. And then beto kay typo al nga alsila bill that also need to be addressed, like ang aramong undi ang aramong ngari alla lo say vehicle registration fees are to be deposited in state treasuries. Ya alsila alla ang wase national treasuries ma akorte da se correct tia language da te degal ugel udo damral mo regel state degal bera national. And then amendments like kita lang mo deka Bureau of Public Service System, kita nga Bureau of Human Resources. So anyway, there's a whole list regel changes. And a simple one, kita ang alsel tial al 33 PNC ra lula complement tawa se a basic government work week, a Monday to Friday, ra 7 dori, mo 11 dori, 12 dori, mo 4 dori. Well, tila adekal apply more anywhere. Mandito tabdira laling. It depends on the department, ma operation of hospital, they all shifted 24 hours, ma blabulis all shifted 24 hours. Ma customs magiran mo shifted 24 hours, ma immigration again lang mo. Deka, tier 7 dori to 4 dori requirement doesn't make any sense. Ya mostrada mo rak aurora 8 o'clock lang. Look, obviously tira 8 o'clock. But anyway, ay part regele sa dalo asing. Kat magila diri ka katakatmok. So part of house cleaning. So kato ko ra, ikita ko ra se namo 6 months sa nangar office. Mal di one supplemental budget bleda pasiri. Kato ko ra se maybe tikita te ala lu molo erulla te clean up igal baby ra gira dulu gutmok. Lada. Mai se?
Big beautiful bill.
Big beautiful bill. Yeah, big correction bill. Let me just go over some of the other issues. One, sell Saudi loan. Mga kasi tiang atara igel magatatal do Southern issue and I get rogul mle sore other olbil ablada correct rogui mang tiang maldi up to the Senate, and they've been sitting on it magata maldi oger tira se kadi girel ger because aknilo sa NDBP is ready to disperse money el al time magata pera igel bangara Taiwan 5.5 to 6% interest. Etiang 2.5%. Yeah, 2.5%. Hindi kasi na singaran mathematics in the last check. Yeah, 2.5 is less than 5.5. But anyway, halit tadri kam suburim lamo 6 months. We hope say maybe they can pass a resolution ramre and they'll move forward on that. Ngarisel commemorative coins. Tiang amlania attributable issue ni the SPM la correctly. There's an agreement that's been made. They give them la mos el oro lo mgela kombali niya sel gut muklitel tial tol ngwa $1 million sa NDBP. May local revenue so to NDBP, which was the intent many years ago ra alom ultial lurior mong Gadombral was saying help NDBP, help Blur Belau. We're hoping it was that's him ask other best el mred el passerin hopefully in this regular session. The regal the resolution al bangari sel federal programs and services agreement. Say bleda signing last year magila Blur Ambrigel sira temela UNGA. I guess I'm not even misunderstanding el Gadombral say sira sel original resolution al bel ratifari olbila was enough. Di mo mamesra alla en ayomra lo ase agiral olbila al mutu ratify take the agreement mong tiang di technical mong amo morori adro olbil hopefully sin mreadel take caring diregal tara agat magila sel ADB charter amendment. ADB every now and then of course reevaluates its charter and says I get a requirement to both follow. It's a standard agreement. Masih mla modar sen mor olbi la kadioli tra olbi la se passering'i ala kada passering'i mo de kada dala ADB mde ko sa muqtiqariyid mo de kada dala ADB ako mara lo se dakal muqtiqariyid muqtiqariyid wa se so sadal mulmul mul dala ADB agar rogul bulul part ADB amna passer agar tir qadimir belal el passer se look portion tir Dirigal sel dome sera dangara UN UNAC Ocean Conference mnuyatela del signer sel border treaty lo bangela FSM adiri kamle signer sel border treaty lo bangela Marshalls tiawal lugora establish sel ikadamala Ocean Conference emru ringileng walo ti sel intent trigid lo ase adol armula blun modibus digel dimla sagari da yeyit sel lomlugol dimlangania adim almol kada mo mungul laigel dimlangaril lomlug leng adbor omlug la dangar sel ngarba beldol paise bais alsumo dangar sel ngarba beldol ebla bol dibus ablu magrata por sel ngarba beldol seguida example among kidam le so gora setri legel blura micronesia con el wase kidro con el wase egel boundary rigid el blada set ay yeyid dega bodong intentig al sum ngari ablun modibus etia dega kadamlam alira ma micronesian din sodal loldo peringira egal restra blul salit wa indonesia lang dega sodal dase namodibus ahele ngam asaka mlamera son soro lagi kita sodal gora rulin mo standard blul adal or tirakring that's the ultimate goal كده عملاني ابيلسل كده عمله ديريغ لوني ترادر والبيلو اسي كلو تو تريلا دا مريا دل ادريس غاني سيل باندينج بيل كده ويلا سيناتور مالايري غارسيم مسيملا كورنسا سيملا باسرا ويرلوم ويرا سينete ese mal mokti gania amo helpra tiral kan traktor segi dengan belau الموت المليسي ارتير مو تقات لين ملا بروجكت سرقي مورال ملا غاري قال ريبون كارينغ راي قال بروجكت ترى بلور بلا را before the games يقدر مرال ملو مثال واسق قد ما لغت تغت على بلا تقر قاقرو سرقان تراكتور غار بلا تشين مدول اوريور وملاس المقطمق راي قال تقل فاسيليتيس الجيرلا جيمز رادر نوروا جير الهوسترا جيمز انا next year سي تيغو ميل pull it off رامال ديمبري del time ديغ مال اوبن everybody امرو لا قال وريور من مختغرا سيناتور ملايلي الموت الانكلوزي سيم قد مال سبورت سيرول داسو ديريغل ترى ادو دغليا right now كده دغا trademark لورا بلور بيلاو so I got newspaper every now and then and print I ngara newspaper to of the advertisement but actually there's no law to back that up so tara mnaya tara gora group Bela at Galada so happens to be from Malta. It was one of the laws that you can do that can help generate although that become a trademark registry. So Seleme, they have to register their trademarks, they pay and then can protect their trademark something that would be helpful more. So tell the Milskida mother legislation, sebla the something in moral bill el Torol Girer. The other will be the drug enforcement amendment. Mutus misi you know dito ra realidad malakal pora igal to mar our law enforcement will involve tora drugs mo na say sisi alla malakal body involved by and anybody working in government. We discussed of course Ministry of Interior ngir bang alamal at team sige adri model but anyway kada mle discuss sa gilo bantirir hopefully maybe a regular session they can work on it. And I think some of the things that we also need to discuss obviously bring up immigration immigration bill pending that we're planning to submit المر البيرة غلولو يدريغل تقرا we're calling it the Tabasul Labor Act. We're plan mo submitting soon really helping our other bela lo real mori alla maltir. All these years kita di focus other other blue mori alla maltir di other blue bela by tiga alla maltir. No. So I am proud to tell that we discussed giri del mugot mok. There's just a couple things that budget diri kamle sogal diri kalmo touch. Gida diri kalmo daya sing gora tito kana blue ram regal when it comes to federal grants. We don't know what saying giri here, but one of the senator girel ma house said reorganize the Ministry of Health. El create a el Trill Bureau with a splitter cell Bureau of Public Health and Motri, Moria Bureau of Behavioral Health, Bureau of Social Services, and Bureau of Public Health. Moktega se llama Tiamalimis Crawl Department de Mal Mixed. Let's figure out a way to improve a service. And so in the current budget billing, if it's approved, say executive order mga mada sa del BS el bureau hopefully improve our service diri kam rimanda adol bilo setya do mesayal do health it's a priority and we may have to make adjustments bodol ngitra lowering artir lastly selme so kalora diri kal touch base ringa sel kida ospe ange suri mal madali sel on triadro olbil sel gotter klol sebak ringa tira se magarang yang ario olingila dengi ma olingila aral ma olingila suel morar adrablu of course kita amal swadro oreram triadro olbil make sure say a number of priority dingira dro oreram gela PPUC PPUC has to operate flexible enough la adresa el ngia ngirel sel gargaringa laudo da girel enough kutmok la gel ngia angaralel alagal enough gargaringa laudo ematro ba gel service ngia provider mar adraplo so qadam le askara adrolu se medrut el momeser sel ngiam le amendment el tilur tial el budget bill de qablu la ngari tablo el APA process el dil imong because for example alora el morba ara lalu ya kumra lo sekam biro ka someal nga tara la dengi el al timing de kalsam long ngati sia di example because kadalo otter tial upes el al bladder li so kadalo nita adro albira se gamedrut subi Dowro labantril solve bagel issues tir one of the things that we've been working with PPUC and today nga ma board ra PPUC ma management ra PPUC amo present ra serwal gora 10-year plan 10-year plan ra PPUC ra ora tila dengira blur belang te ulang cloud to trail kama few months ago I'm started metro material partners sergit tial brother mot makhla dengira blur belang aklo kadam sa maintenance kadam sa transmission lines kadam sa upgrading ra ulang makmada dengia software runner system all of these things change agel single now motel sing SL transformers ay gap togol agros issues mungklo amangat maklele require awdo and if PPUC doesn't have enough ludo del gira la tora maintenance hindi kasi ilgut maklisir ng aralin so akti share akple kotel kmitra radra PPUC trialuk engineers akmurage irmano ase ngira del raise ra dengi another 6 cents and mo cover agal maintenance cost mak kahalagululu kami kami danga nakadangar triagi diluldas kami do mesro ase ngaray gel si adal magal gutmok el reducer seguid el loan mim el tirada por ablu la kadong ngobe aptrudera only tirada ablu el girel tila just some good announcements to share. That's why it's important to have these donor meetings. Of course, Australia, adrigulo ay sirgidro ase, to willing and provide another 16.5 million. It's the biggest grant blal beskida ablur Australia mo. Adegan kita tabor Australia 4 times alsara 1 year irma. Sigida result. Kwadi miska idea mo. Di agel partnership rigid agam close to trillen igid am dingin wase even before a solar ngari a loss rala in a system. And the best way to capture all those losses is to have more batteries. So they're going to have a current system rela ngari 10 megawatts ra battery ngara goksai, or I think 12. They'll add another 16 because that's what the study Australia really says we need, and hopefully and that will actually push Palau to 25% of renewable energy. And then from there, kadamna subi a system kadamna say what are the other things we need to do to go to 100%. So a PPUC cell part cell 6 cents lo saudri awase we need this like yung cable mamkarang. So one of the things el blado request ra blue amrigel awase gel infrastructure manil dolap ngara blue amrigel me magel udo dra maintenance. Let's use some of that to help a PUC will upgrade the system rigid bol se edel meet the demand der tir malakal pol forstel increase la dengi. So part of cell upgrade the Ministry of Justice make sure it's $1 million and what dengin mora a prison. Tial I got lines a dengi I got on the distribution and the transmission. E de galgia de connecta a dengi straight ma a transmission. Awula makmada dengi kita de connect. So tial all rogir tirga dingara a transmission a connect direct el mora apply. E giring a distribution. Mungira del mutuo mala abes el seng el girela a distribution. So same hopefully say allow rhythm ga increase housing mga regal areas along ra of course tial side ra mabdula oigul ma ang asaang ma prison matialuk vital side rigid ra all diregal yun mesra increase dengi in other areas hopefully help ra a PUC mandigal bol additional cost and more tial bill rigid. Anyway, I'm not saying mo ina faya black sa gire la yo sa nga rigid nga kasi kan sa hindi ka Ministry of Finance makutangan la kumutangan la small mo break di namo 11 o'clock namo 1 hour sel tara agi kidire kablam discussing ng gila otro bill sel الامباسي رجيد منجيل الاوبن را EU يملا minister state amal diri gamla ra civil Spain angel marain sira langarse tirgal adra EU amal sorry sel togol graduate amal sorry lo to diri dem de kadola ngidin nges ro ngidin bulu to se kami amla graduate mal na moklo income kami waise tia de tiluri ma ula kadonat mautem la igel loan el girela sewer ma airport ma cable dimla kaldir film ergid al waigal baby rablu. So atil mal swadeng self graduation is coming December 2026 gidar gon lamada de kalse de malangis sel blala sure gida ablu rashabala se regardless of that kama ma continue no ser kamit America of course and continue no ser gida Taiwan continue no ser gida Australia agora ngara is on the fence modulia trador bilo ase medrela embassy gid Australia tiga bay solo lo no ser gid el malmal lo no ser gid legda try figure out a way من دي قد بورس يجي graduation من عمنا أنتي المرة أدرى أقول بيلا سه forget EU لتري يوم تقول جدي بايدي مصادر عضو المريض بايدي concentrate ترى سألت يا غاري embassy أستراليا بيلاو we should have an embassy said reciprocate I think the airlines they're providing the grant اللي قبل يشوريا أو تيسل strengthen a partnership رجيدا من close to the investor sale relationship. The plus yang ang nakita ng school say. So it's I think an important step. Tapos tu volume malagay la open na embassy same. Tu volume malagay ka na volume la open na embassy, so I think it's time for us. Vice, nakuha lang mo da kayo. Kung gusto ka media, bamogin mo mrege mo ko minister sa global tu siya. Nada. Sula. Yaman ba itong Makmal dimle di mo sa weekend, but kamal ko ra. Okay. I see.
Ang may kamong kora, malungil lang mo tumong sa kamo, mingilwas, itiyari related lang nagkita. Kami ang ayas kang adak mo nga 60s in May.
I see.
Ek mam klaman ngilin, manem sisirak ko.
Yeah, hindi kam sulang ra tiasera closing ceremony agim na di discuss ang ilo magela chairman ama direkal el Frank ama baklay ma leadership role bin narsay lo aseng gira drulia omrengan saul schedule del omrengan saul morir klugo ra kapsing legira la kapsing di ke postpone mo klugo amle uldaso aseng mora tragen film Ningoram kita yang magi asing agira del moral sela cafeteria ra PCC. Ningoram malle soda langara train field and closed space. Son sia dras kara adra blue member kada do engara nang lage de ek muto eh o sia ulen de alza ma to mongi ngwa mo bla takla Okay.
Kalalungo lang president.
Kita almonia high heels ra tragan tomle atrage okay.
Di mo uniform tikal ngal kaya nga. Igel medal sa table of atrabasyo do marchers.
Manungin.
Cooperate. Trigal ada yakul polka. Pero trigal ada basket mar wrestlers. Trigal lora le gitu ada perlu la kulir mo so special wherever.
Lu tromes ra ben yo PCC ke letal ge kale.
Welcome to Silnes Release.
Oo.
Tira mel medungok no.
Oo. Kamu ko na diyo.
Hindi ka ba ito pura sa tel national gym?
Oo. I see.
I mean, yeah, tende ka national gym matanga.
Oo. Nariya ang wood park ngari bar ada ko skill.
Ada. Okay.
Di kita ya.
Dia hala ka mutur mga dadurti. Amle original ulda so amle track and field mura cafeteria maybe in cedar to. Mura chin.
Igual di last ko yang malika time kuninta minister justice was di altol gire last try ra bila kalusma. No ang ra osam klase. Di mo mga sa mga rig, imala information na siya. Igibigay sa akal mara. Kulira dara pulo la mo mga sige daw ma-flow issue. Mas mo di namsagan mo break.
Letigat alaw do strike.
Okay. Kapo ang minister.
Ngir mga rawil karim. So, hindi mo naka-strike. Hindi mo naka-riot. Laring RSSL tool kalbusel ne soril mga dadura, either myself or the director. Ilgire la pepira issues el soril soril directly tamo dadura nga kamalubeng director. The director was not available. Mlara ta mle off koror. Nga kamlara compound and dik milokorar chief of police sa kabom mogel kumura issues ra kami. So mlaring exchange ra aldo back and forth. I did have the chief of patrol mar abulisar patrol assist ra abulisar chela. Hindi mla ka kuramo aggression or yes, issues are tiram le revolve around their provisions na kalir. They want different kinds of food and bigger portions. Mang akngilay gigidal tam lang ngilay gigidal may maska makmla o mesa ato nga madirektor lo mesa luwas nga nga reasonable and what adjustments can be made. Ginilay gigid some of the some like long trir di ka reasonable within ra kung structural nga rin ma situation at diabli la kalbus. So some of the things that they want are not reasonable. So I explain it muna kal sa all time because it is in fact a prison. So not all privileges el muraro adrabuluwa accorded el mortal basyo. That's something that we have to understand. We realize mula sa tediregal dirgab to kortira bebirgi dergal ged magi malobas sa gid ruldas wa hindi gid diregal lawriol nga alsela confinement tra a penal institution nga ringa lool gid derol tirak lool taw ta madiregal facility nga ringi ma resources ringi mang hindi so kalu issue president mula say ako la bay gid walong trir mak address agel within the rules Mr. President rest tagim blam explain more till was ay gayida ko tikal al sabel this is in fact a prison with rules that we have to comply with. So but hindi mla ka strike
Kita said number one. Seguida, experience kita ko tenem rin naman la. Ako makaol ba tayo kasi bitigaron ko ko. Okay. Hindi ela kita naman ka to ay meng sodra shura dra blu ase akal lang aringin murabla akal bus ngari place el caring oy masegan they're fed 3 times a day. We're working on a new facility and we're doing everything and make sure tigal ngaliata selbak hindi sel do ngali atiagid tirga malmol mlol sis ba drak selol tura bla kalbus ngarabu ngarakal ngara rogul 3 times. Hindi ka kalbus rablula adal watel kalbus rigid el di mimo klaro kul tokol mo soy sa projects mar adal kalbus lola bawo daw dai ka kal tokoy nga kamla visit tra adal nga kalbus rablura ambigen personally nakplamo dile tatak makno visit 30 days in advance ng man malar appointment nga diri sura adam el tela lo sura ade e kalbus mumna 6 years e kalbus hindi Dori days and siya mo so is. Ya bom sis ada 15 minutes kamo ima magira ngar bulate le tool security clear. Dekal siya mom stera ngidil ngaram. Deka imol kalbus la alaw dalla bawdo. Mal magul to. Dekal siya mo ko awdo sa pulis sa mo warase. Ma ay lang mal dekal to. Kita do rule. Ulang mo ya clear problem tial chen. So Medam sa direktora mal no mesertiang and he's been kadokora amne obela ori hindi awula I can maklol bulam namo apply the rules. We know what say no matter what Allah kan sisi ay gigid el ultial apply and they say the correct tagal problem lang rin abla kalus. So abay sa ko diri man diri gidro say do hospital am lakche kartir mal de kartar til songren. So akala why say director has been in stages. So I'm forced this alakal next mo de kaudo. These are things that we need to do the correct tell problem. Ligid am tinga se mo ni audo ingok mo alabal influencer akunta ngi ko pena gida problem. So, American mal system, mal simple system. Same rule now though, you can do some kind of rule a license plate, kam rule nga di do da mo locked in an account. Rabang. Sel on top, higalu do da may mo lapal mo crack lang ara. Get a head start. Mal dekal affectera. You know that kita gira del trial helper tier with. Kita swada el helper tier, misera top they can succeed and not return. sige da ultimate goal mong kada help ra ngal kita may nga sing tiga ya adiri kal part ra a problem gid dal adiri tiga ra nga right sometimes wayelo ko mak man tiga ra ko makol bataw mo ko di kam to repeat okay ay di ay di ka doru re lang ngari gal rules and help rito kasi mela kada boring ilan di kal sota ngari kasi na beti ka mo dortir so sige da why si
kita mal makitar mo.
why si
To malamal pro makakti mo klat ko sa mrengelil mla involved ni nga kamar ulbil il kat maklil mo ngil mla kalmo do away si.
ako mamlar high school sir time but it's okay
Why seb and we giwa hospital Mr. Ludong even though last ay gistobal malay kalira ada solo ba kalilang algelang biilan alme ay gidir accept donations di hospital mun sabi will donate luar sabi donate almen di sell donate ako mo understand lo sing mo kalira ro kuy hindi akal sa timel wasak donate ra kalilang algek ang donation na dir gimulay preferably amada canned yasay fruits aygal sabil donate tara ding dagil sumamal malamar ka leng maring lado store makira dal yan ngosong sing maring lado rose ringil barbecue hindi gel individual el milk mutya kalila ngaligek tya kalila maasra ngak tya kalila o da ka dia
Minister, Special Advisor, the schools were being used for the mini games for all the stuff. Is preparations getting ready for the school to start? What's going on with the schools? Are they getting ready to?
no here
Yeah, we've been, as you know, the public schools have been hosting a few of our guests, and the taking that hotel facilities down to make it a school facility has taken a little bit longer than we'd hoped. We still have some refurbishing to do. So as a result, I've gone around and talked to all the principals and visited the schools, and my recommendation to the president has been that we move our initial day of school from July 28th to August 4th, 1 week, and then extend the end of that quarter 1 week. So we'll be taking 1 week away from our first intersession, but it won't affect the learning days at all in the schools, and give everybody a little bit of a break. Our bus drivers are exhausted, and the cooks are also very, very tired of what they've been doing. So we're going to give them a little bit more time to recuperate and get their operations in order for the schools to operate at the best facility.
ungil gera umbra sa ungil tial schedule gid sel sumare ya way gid yang sa dal tigi bal adjusting make sure ang gadugot mo klay gat migil mo sulang ara gid August 4th is the proposed gidam na sa ngigel 3 weeks ra dong la itchel quarter mo kadukti ko da bangis gid 3 weeks mo 2 weeks
Yeah, President, if I may just ask all of my questions at once,
okay
so it's to dry up here. Got the question na nga, mention ra sil part ra budget increase ra 8 mo 65. That means wala siya ada tiakal lola benefit ringin mo 65 arkil, right? Alubeng.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that. It means that we say the mandatory age requirement,
I see.
you have to retire at 65. So also matong lang alakra 65, we need to ask pension for permission or to allow them to go beyond. What needs to happen now, if Allah pass, yung mga rela pension will come up with new policies, which one of them is to rule more flexible among sel 55 ka retire ka ding mo base tial. They need to redo the calculation. So you earn a percentage based on so many years of work. Sige da, siya proposing a pension. So there's reforms that are coming, which are reforms that we need to implement to get the 20 million released from the US.
So,
Este sa sumo kombre del todo. Ngare reduction.
Oh, always.
Oh, okay.
so
about the pension has those ready, they're waiting. They said, ang ana laklo lam, fix this, kung maukumdur kuma. Because by regulation, they can do it.
ako na concern or other question, and this raises question as ang bulgulasin di katsil sumutam aming ilal mo retire 65 ang bulgulasin sumun 60 to ang bulgulasin tamla mo di katsil malabi na fits it tirawa SS ma pension. Sige da ko na question ng auto sweeter admin.
Sa malayan, hindi ka ngakaroos.
Karos.
Umungin mo 65 and 100%, if you're a little bit less, hindi ka 100%. Yeah.
Kam na mention na ang following up question ng RCA nagidel sil 20 million ang marigalam nagidel waseng mura pension. Sige di ang aring sendir ka sa ela pension ang ngundi nga niya requirement del gidel meet.
Yeah. From the beginning, we knew it wasn't their requirements. So that's pension reform. And we've had the consultants been working with us for 3 years. Hindi wa SS. So consultants gidam help gidra SS ma pension reforms. Sira gibora pension, kasi gidra reform gidra remove. Ito kasi hindi kalsa remove unless in change la. So fix the law, regulation, they can decide how they structure it. It doesn't require a law. The pension ruling through the APA process. So this will give them the flexibility to do what they need to do. And then, most importantly, Tigil Sori Lora as will continue Lora government. I don't have to go write a letter and request the extension.
Next question again la sil workers proposed the fee increase fee of foreign workers excuse me right now in 150 a year to 500. Sige that proposal.
I see.
Excuse me. Di ako mukuro mesra. Sorry. Di ako ra nga niya idea lasing how it's going to impact the agriculture ma construction sector niya malbato ka abra ang odal bulun nga ringi. Dagi dal proposal.
Tiram divided here also 1 year, lower rather 2,000 hours. $500 is equivalent to 25 cents an hour. It's minimum.
And that's basically the impact that you see. It's going to be minimal lang
Minimum.
on everybody.
Most of the spare are foreign workers, like Singapore, $200 a month of fee, which is $2,400 a year. Dubai is $5,000 for 2 years. Balwada is like those countries. We use a lot of foreign workers. So, we have to be smart about our policies. Cayman Islands example. Number one fees will collect financial sector foreign labor fees. So if the willing will go up to 1,500, eliminate income tax altogether. We need to change the way we do things, but these are reforms that we need to look at.
Sel proposal at change ra temela government mo nga sila nga lalo sa 7:30 to 4:30. Tiyan nga niya kukpol impact rin nga yung wasing ada urol mala overtime maluwit yung di change sa language but it does not change the process. Nga niya will impact rin nga yung additional benefits.
Well, they're supposed to work 8 hours.
So,
So, turo lang 8 hours and similar overtime, yeah.
dahil wala night differential yung mga nakliligal ko kasi
Hindi ka na, night differential, that doesn't affect that. Sige ka. Ige malmol, ige hazardous, mga na ige ka change rin. Ige mal di schedule.
Maldi last to presidente awana sel regarding sel proposal el mubra sel percent el todra PPEF el mora PICRC el mora pension of course sa pension ang ania financial situation ni question na say pension na di mora about 5,000 4,000 el adalo luluro kapilment whereas ang ania additional el tigil ko nga private sector tira ka ang gested tira pension government pension ti al fund el movering ma PICRC ma pension na wadibol benefit that tigil retiree na government whereas PICRC benefit ra other belaroki a question na say justified in your process sa lul the street or others maybe it's kada di malaudo dra government di support tra havra population.
I think what we need to understand though is the obligation of government. Government. So sources of revenue, whether it's through taxes, through fees, all of these go to help the liability. Kita sel dosado ser $300 million el bilsela pension. Kita deka sel de pura adal ngara government rela se kami sel retire bla bla gado mo deka gado mo lai. Kita mo understand ro se bulur bela giren mo per seguidel ngal so sel mo ndibus. So we need to find a good ways to help smisia a pension. And that's why there's two things. One, stop parcel bleeding, which is move to a 401k or a defined contribution plan. And then find all the money we can and help and make sure payments go to pension to make sure they are protected. So,
yeah, I guess that leads to the question, or maybe it's mlaring isel when I get previous studies pension mlaring a proposal perhaps include a private sector, maybe a voluntary benefit.
Sell those other sell defined contribution. They got more include a private sector. Because sem na mo sell ang idil adal mural sell. Sell uldas or sell se maguror a west el telgib المودية تمر قبل تتيال for one year gas emel move it back and forth they continue to accumulate. That's the goal by going to a defined contribution. Di sel di mlaqal suad al-mruri adi qal suad al-sel udodra private quando sta collect and one member the payout legal di create a bigger problem. No, se de ضرورة تري. نقدر separate legal to arbes el adra private el-may amor tegid defined contribution. لو بتريد تيادر على government البأس المي متجيل less than 15 years. They have an option to remove المرشد system. And then تريد rest رارات نغير على system amortial بلانسل دون تقري. And of course تيامو decision or policy makers because they may come to a point where say تيادي قاعد سام لو تقول لك $20 million a year we can only appropriate 10 million. So we're only going to give them 10 million. I hope we don't get to that point. That's why نجير هذا الcorrect تيجال issues الجدا على البعض.
Okay, mal the last question ng President and I'll have others get the mic. Mle mention de ko desen de ako desen ada nga budget and mle mention ra kung Mr. Sel agenda ra lo bang gidar leaders. Ay sel mention ra request ra blam Miguel el mo Oscar Vela mo provide support help ringi ra to asylum. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Ngaria request ra blam Miguel. May mga discussion on solo mga Blue Amrigel. Blue Amrigel, I say there's about 1.5 million al other nga Blue Amrigel. Lo claim el waset to sig asylum. So a request I say, first request I say, Abela, would you consider? And so possibly consider. Then ang mo niya discussion lo bantri. And was say, how would that be? The sel ukos ng Amrigela, most of those people will return back to their home countries. Kasar tira mora bebirablo. Di Amrigela mala listra igel blue support ringil with this uh, situation. Amne first tingin mergi da se tirgel mlar bela amro ko bisin mer amrigel osiga asylum mol kita amde se kita ata bela di mor amrigel ma ade gala. So teka chal so the mura media, but sometimes amrigel adi mrula. Ukti tokol mura blue la dro set temna secure ateral blue. Anyway, mukata kay nga sew. Ay kita gida mo understanding. Kata kay nga sew base tiga sa lido ospe anges. Esoro soro lo tin ma blue se. Gida blue o amrei. Ayun, that's that's Trump's agenda. Yeah.
Maybe Maldi last one to comment about that. Mura,
Hindi wa bela di mo blue di mo ka tarifan mo rin. But anyway.
I'll let others.
Hmm. 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 No, like I said, these are all efforts ضروري للprevention السل ultimate رياضة ممروري. We're going to have to have an appropriation or a رغم مقابل pensioner السل والسلسل. So كذا مودل of course عمال help سلورا المبتغى tourist, because right now $12.50 every tourist in Mirablur Belau amora pension. I say, ela se mo increase mo $15 mo pasar. So if you think about mo 100,000 are tourists, it's 1.5 million mo so is. Those are the, so if we get that up to $20 and more 2 million, these are ways to try to help pension, and we're continuing to help pension. No, say, how do we ensure a sell impact and mera telo restaurant budget read? But di po sa ulo we need the restaurant budget to travel.
The last follow up on that kamal ko ay al reforms maring ako ra expected al timeline ng Thomas ring so that these reforms could be done at accessor cell 20 million grant financial assistance.
Cell grant is coming. So what we need to be prepared Ngarbelao, put in the reforms and show us I'm already accept though. So Cell 65 is step 1. A pension needs to do their job. Already now consultant. And they've given all the information on a pension plan. So the pension board just needs to act. And when they've acted, then so I hoping it will come pretty soon. So I hope kadruli ang alet masel announce am real wasing ready no mskita udo. I'm going to more Morsel economic consultation next week, July 24, 25. I don't know if at that time they were ready to tell us, but part of what we're going to discuss, I say, these are the reforms we're going to make that help Malar. So, which is based on what the consultants have given us and what the board has to implement.
So lang. The last one, Minister, state, I know we will be hosting the next PIF forum. Nga para specifically issue malumang interest ra. I know there are regional interest in nga particular interest del last one push niya. especially during our hosting.
Regional initiative, of course, ay blue host at yung nga ni sila. Ano sa step de alam ko nga yung national initiative sa one example tiale wala niya Minister Victor. Then unlocking the Blue Pacific Prosperity Plan. Seven day katramal one issues of other proceeding same. Between now and then, the Yorgi de la Masingraswado pursue. Then it will be put in the communique, the Sendabora UN, Marigaro international meetings. That's what we put out to them. So between now and then, government of Lela, we get initiative to Lomes, it's all complete, it's all project, malum it's all promoter at sila ma region. Walang saura question nila.
Sige daw, musulak.
Question nga Kamara Vice President. Mainly our athletes that are currently experiencing a dengue outbreak right now. Blue Tonga, Mafichi, Cook Islands have all declared a dengue outbreak. Laring one athlete pala the very file was saying dengue. Nga mutal, nga baby athl plata identified tail was at the dengue and also nga preventive measures ra Ministry of Health to prevent the dengue outbreak rebello.
Malungil to tao, malungil gir. Why say, ngaringingil dimle imol athlete, leblel diagnose ringil dengue, manggeblel quick ringi isolate ringi arbeklaf. So kung das wa hospital gi dagil mo play gir ro kuy buklete kay gel necessary steps will make sure and diakal sa el morngia diakal kora. Ako ka spread al monar bebile. So yes sa hospital mal kaltmok la palasir ngi marukuil to el make sure es wala rukuil para kay gidal outbreak at yakal apen ran sila bulu belaw eh. So far as gid yadi imol do mali.
Bawal President ay sila sa ang awak lang mula nga kalo sa ngariya ngartel press conference tunga kung nagut maklil based sa experience at tilmasing so ngartel ang cover press imugurulya ko summary hindi mo mreket otobdi morbela ko summary ra kan mo mesa ka kamal mo tim ketek mo do mo tim remedy mal to kam cloud tel to mo ngilar mo len mo molt buhay. Ang labong nga deso kalugar na minister obi ang alwasin maral tukoy sir Maria Pula ang ngara emda kam lamongkang mabasol ngara ang riya sa bitara abil obok mamra Tony Bells dire lamongkang igigid likang ngari urol moringi o igigid semra lila nasional lubang ngara Akuro state government lo ngara
Yam sulang ingirabang emda ka puk tiap tulula ara Akuro state. Ay galp tulula al miliwek rodor ay gadi pisay dara Akuro reef elguk dedicated USPL kirela subandip tulula ara state ay ka ang les hindi ka kakurat ko yung ara state mail was ma awal rablila atonira amis tonira abel sa mandir ka kakurat ko yung mail was yung monggo mo bigaw ngil mo mesang lekom kwater yung mga kamal maralang ministry
Vice President tabay okay dama president loolel
oto ko loolel
musulat
malungid swal merki te rogo Victorio kokoram le mention luase tokora recommend ra increase ra 6 cents ra dengue mang gora swadal mundingel luase 6 cents el gia del muten increase leng batokol adam la tap in and morat a solar panels mang tiang mo cover sel solar loss ra IPP may gel rooftop solars adang el burden niya adal di regular nga ra toge na ubang meter.
So,
If
I think in Kloa, Rauren, solar, so we need to get some things clear. And at time, solar, we pay for it, it's 14 cents a kilowatt. You see? It's cheaper than diesel. Hindi nga rin sell loss. So because of the loss, nga sell mo, may na kasi siya nga aran, hindi maday sell. We can agree to that. So Ngel Minister Bowen that was just here, I'm skid said 16.5 million grant. I'm skid said tell us say yegi the rooftop solar, my the roll solar that we produce now, of them roll including I sell ilang kal generator sell road. And they sell it fluctuates. So not all of it is consumed. So this will increase our efficiency. Just diesel. So what we're trying to do with the batteries will help reduce your signal loss for the whole system. Say has nothing to do with the 6 cents. A 6 cents raw sa atin yung PUC, o mara besil singa na dengi, o mara besil dengi basira, o mara besil transformer, o mara SCADA system, o mara besil generator, ay kita roof niya PPUC. Have nothing to do with solar. Actually, if we get more solar and more batteries, maybe more than a generator. But anyway, so that's a different issue. We're going to still need a certain amount of generators. Unfortunately, the sun doesn't shine all the time. So there will be times that the ulul talsil. So we need to have generators. So Cell 6 cents project PPUC is just to maintain the diesel and transmission systems. So what we're trying to do, try help PPUC with compact, but reduce the expense tier. Mandi ka balugol bol ed additional more aral tier dengil already aradra balua malaswari sing ngarba. Di at the same time diri algeta mamdayo na se arala dengi ma aral mara Palau compare than more Pacific. Tara ko tanong ariyo. Adi kita makwam, yakwam 200,000 already. Population is 10 times Palau. So we have to be thankful. Ulan siya ng ariyo arala igeliya. For example, tell 16 million al grant el drigam lomregal really Shabal remove like transmission na. Igel di blag kita haraw. Selo ba calculation PPUC every 750,000 is equivalent to 1 cent increase. So just imagine how many cents I get. So we keep our partners informed, we show them the plan, they help us and make sure the maintainer, even though the blue, maintainer la dengirgit, era level, self comparing a Pacific and Ario regal pecal blue. A self comparing ma Pacific, how do that? Our earnings get abay man arbab compare them regal baby. So I think a lot of times kita mal di kasi kita mal abu le mal makita klarigid, but we don't know what that is unless kabay mo na Solomon Island, Michael Baby Blue. 60 cents ara la dengirti. Some places $1. So we need to understand PPUC has challenges. They have to collect enough money. So we need to work with them. Ang una ka, Peter Teatro Bill, puto siga solution. The med the blamer tier, la helper tier, and they can rule. We need to help them.
So lang. Chengin sa, el Albalbol America Games, kada mal na invest taklo daw the facilities. Ngayon ako ra, if sa nila education, el alomo ra school year, bol masisi at to ra physical education ra school, el bol sa peril. Maybe in terms of certical coaches, maybe hire a tirel mo, olchis aklarwa, weightlifting, tennis, so forth, they'll make use of facilities. Rather than itong tin man mo maklo at trial recruiter tin mo sa ko raigal to ra sports. leng atoring sunggup malbro ol diyak yung mabare por education etiak sel ma track and field digel baby ra sports ada mi itu teringi di kataman na invest aklo ludod mangkora swadan mom dinge uda swela education ulwasen sabi mo malisi ay gel baby ra sports leng klo ludod da blata oy teringi ra igal facilities.
Thank you. That's a very interesting question. The money that has been spent for the facilities is certainly appreciated. The repairs of our classrooms and the making those good is also very important to us. The importance of all the facilities which have been raised as far as the athletics are going. We have a full-scale high school athletic program, which has at least 5 sports, 6 sports now, ongoing annually, and that's through the BIIA. That's an independent organization the MOE is a member of. The other elementary schools, we have been working to try to get that an improvement. Our PE program curriculum was revised about, it must have been 8 years ago, and we're in the process of revising that again. To bring it into conformity to what we can do and what our facilities enable us to do. It has been a real handicap to our program to not have any outdoor facilities. So in the elementary schools, when it rained, we were inside, and tough on that. That's been changed, and it's going to be a great addition to us. So we're going to be looking at working with some of the other ministries to try to see about incorporating, I guess, what Senator Tubbs is looking at is a community athletics program to where the facilities would be used during the day by the schools, using hopefully expertise from outside, our regular teaching staff, and then after school be used by community for their activities. So it's under consideration. Our hope would be is that we can find ways to attract more young people into the teaching profession, because you can't put an athlete and assume they can teach. It's not quite the
And
same
then
thing.
my next question, el ako to mesaigal school la install air condition. Ako ra wonder wa seng sel ara laigel tial dengi raigal school mlo sab ml kora estimate terhil wa sen daitan mol amotela increase ara la dengi el alblal install laigal air condition raigal rogul school. I'm sure indirect kamo affect the budget ra education.
Yeah, it will affect our budget, definitely. We were looking at, with all the addition just this summer, and a significant increase in our utilities cost, because we don't usually use many of those classrooms during intersession. They were all used in the high school and the elementary schools in Koror. So that is going to be an increase and taken into account for our future budgeting.
Yeah, the last tugori ke minister iyar kotoreng sertiale EBSL mo marura port ngora daitan kung sabedel koro omesel wasing segurio rang amo mu roy ngarang sing mo strictly state ma national government adang direct kamalmol mloban tritigel kukulu liser seraw era tial lo mga maklela port.
Improvement porta o blal negotiate a president to bangela mi Amerikel el improve rapport nga malala el al time yang aringi arwa assessment ma preliminary design mangaral marar el al time mga to mes kita material direkal atal operator port mga Koror state kabalmente ma leadership ma ROP waseng Russell mo pestal al design niya mo accommodate udon mo mararaport amo expandera with the report ma lentering mo sabel accommodate maklone el vessel alamay el al time ay gal commercial vessel gidelo alta kargol merbelaw Arwaigel dile la matson murtra West Coast del Mera Aquam at akan sa PLML porter gid. Matamera kwa me nga sa klalora adiala kewal gidre wala pal deliver ay galbalura Micronesia. Most of it lo taka maklol. Vessel sigid al time. Aldado marail radyo lang lela Horror State. A national government, military ra Miguel nga adi odi siya mo improve ra porta. Mang timeline ang aringi darur tringi etam na subdi dalwase. Gire dal kaiget sa kulto koy mang au era as August September next year. Uerise, iulela next year, malubeng tour dra endrel alir. Ekda summit ay galesel a secretary ra a defense ma aradra involved tel project girillo der si tial request ra funding al mora congress ra Amerikel. Ra next fiscal year tir. Hopefully hindi tamna subadi dra igel ko adal wasay. Klawa support ra even makang Chris Ramrigel kirel tiya matamingil tamingil wasing klawa balgul kirela balwada mo ngaudora maray legend adal operator report mangarang to malaw de suir mangarang hindi mararingi dul kirel tiya luror mangarang ngara tolong lete gid ma Amrigel ma Horror State mayaro kul matingil wasing palasira bekal belua o Amrigel ang siapa lamagera di akaliw may mga dadu ay gal state government may atar a national government kitiya amalasmal tira al dadu Maria Swami President letter
I think overall Jenna gida ang bagla sa tial porter gid among gongong. If you go and come commission and meto sel dangat teri tiya kurak med wasel story rablilio amle so adam mura airport rablilio edimla FAA refuse or todo mura airport rablilio ela adam brigela mla gongelo aset mura airport rablilio ena takampasay traland on rablilio, so it's a double win for us. Ado mas report ng amlaling medyo social situation. Ablo ng Miguel akora mladaitan wasi. Kada understand ra for state tira ngari udo del earner abek karak. El gire legalis ng amlal. It's about 300,000 a year. Mlel do no Miguel wasi kada make sure sel udo del blelus riya for state if kada nationalize report amal mal morti. In terms of an endowment or some way make sure other our state. Not only that, rather brigada dire kamla kong ngelo ase tamam gigi bitar ice packs ilum sa Horror State el dire from the material will excavate mo mga report. So what's been going on alam gila Horror State ase makarada make sure if anything port gida kalt mokal gida se dros peri tigel operator al report a fishing modia adital mo report operations report. Amerika sola di container ng report. Ang nga yung maintenance warehouse. Abay yung mga report a customs. Nang yung check container wala ito ba report. Hindi kalbo rablo. Hindi yung mga siya may X-ray machine marogwe. That's operated wa malal port. And it should be a government port. And mahal di wa ayray. Saya ultimate goal siya sola Amerika la va kaloro giren. So siya doro la mga Horror State rulil wasing mo national port. Of course, just like the airport, ang area United and Memphis Airport, ang area via Abasco ng Arseng. So, same thing. About transfer namin operator sa port ring tiga ano da container stibidor. Mal sumang yan mo trimo mga tatirikan. Siya dan mastriatean. But a process, it should be a government port, national port. Ma security niya at the highest standard. Siya sorry lo masa. Ya Albonia tautading rang it's deep enough for sel meklom klol del ramba soldar ambrigel melol gerda whatever they need to unload.
Yati lastel gari gamara Minister of Justice emo subes maktigora ang slim mga dadu ngayar at tewal parents ngalgira nga rachele wasyagi mal understand lo wasyar ngalgama ang ariatal malir endi tamal diol ngit wase bol sabe el klabe el kalir lel go bek el week eto di doril tuna madoril spa makalir dia kaya say unless nga niya donation rabalul mong wase baby ratay meng ngadadir mo trachos rar baby rar buli silorior el baby ratay meng dia kat sel 1 hour kiril todo el dia kal alartir baby ratay melgo nganya donation rar adrabalul al dabe el mong baby ratay en maldi sese ya mortir ya westa da dia kal ngay mang medel lamot talbul koram li tay werni leng katam dingel wase en ngayar guk matar basri marku kungin basri dendi akora di so kalogel let wase mo tangan ma press conference mogel wase at least the bol sabel mo healthy akal lagim dingel wase ngal gama angar ni atal malir endi bol sabel at least the bol klabe la kalir malakim fil wase el alblal stoba kal el mosoyis de alsab amlola pang akal el murar ngal kam at least de bolungin la kal ra sila chel al sumsab emel goradi explain and mortigay el klwal adil el lulniter nga kalme ol niter gaw kamsulang
Ang chen mal understand nga makadil hindi akala tigal remeng sawe ay kita lang the way Lord President says a number of reforms that are going on at the prison. Kadang-kadang pasing listo ba kalera palun may ese tilo baleng man lo o tramle treta lulus pering lo klo atrak sa besois pa ang trabandro kiwa kal patingel al amada malmar kama apu marokul toy ترجيب وال بليغ نادرن أكلاد التايم مقدورة إذا الفاسيليتي من أيجي الويس الوال ولا مسويس بالدراكس أجيم ستوب سرد ستوب أيجان ترانو تيال دراكس راب أنا باين مريو يبوك منغلق راب لا يبوك مكو ngir سيجي دكتوريتا كذا ما understand that one تغير كنت تغير التايم temporary so sabihin mo nga time makakalimutan mo ay hindi el time situation na please wasala stopper say bol talgib klabe la tletara bay mabli de bol sabihin del mutul open asing mo ay kay kiti dik man madanglig til al mo ko ngay magi el holbi kay yo mesa tetele la gal diesel supplies ng dolay akala dolay mo kalira ang algadal nga na dahil kaya amadyo sisil kal to maarik mo kalira at mit anyar waman kung nakonsume yasay anya yasay nga ni ma aman kung ngarinya time kamrula kare dengan mal ko voy ma nganyar wa donation sa may maselemeng ko mo nila yung kan ayaw may sa gigitro kung level ang ama director chibra chele o mes gire la plungen la edisira kalbusri ang o mes lo se mo tetelela el do isakal le telela mi dira el part reform ang ana mo si tire tu base somos bedela aku ay sa nasegyo mesel elang mga mokla lumorsel ni diwal tungot mokla beef mang aktyon ng italo say kada mo understand der segi del akmadiyo la sa betukal al-adil man ada sorry mo sa ilo la bakal del may al-bukti mo say mura mo kalilan ng kinabek kansins nding ay yung ito sa hindi kan sa BLC sa BL donation sa mail mo kalilan beklaat yakamam gim more ra tele lakal maklo tungot mo kringin mo sen lungil tele al safe al bila kalbusan sa nga ringi al suba ita tatumutol metod data sa inyo. Aklamen sa igel mo ko yan mal gloria ulit nga direktor ma presidente el mga mokpat yan bila kalbusan gitu.
Director sel minister sel wase doril tuna madoril spamral satal sandel adakal salwaisi
Yakal waisay.
kilala 1 and meal
Yeah, yakal sa el tal Sunday. Tara gimot mo kanil ang mo make sure nga rula klabe el tetele la menu ngarang magim na pangitan ni sura MOE was la medyo kay del expert tra kamera food service podrelia klabe tetele was a menu mo ngarang tetela ngara telangan asuma ko ako makara kartel el adra modlo etuna mayasay intelan tuna etelan water telera ay kanira ng rasul mang diesel was boril tuna tansande yanda almat ko presidente say
wadi sokal Kuman sulang dik mada dik last comment na utrula til July 14 siya gomle Independence Day amrigel na celebrate rin amrigel semro to gomle celebrate rin belam gomle asulala Vice President no se lom ter yide ok no klama medal congratulate rablu amrigel sira gotulurior direk alwadi sokal invite arbek lava Teruk mo sa barir, especially media, Morisel opening ara groundbreaking. Ara mina toba si bridge el morira elal mel klugu, 3 o'clock. Etiam elal mel klugu. Ara tseng di morir gen. Mina toba si okay, gadi morse. Of course, omring saula klugu. Magadam na Michael milo aseng we'll have March mga so we'll definitely work on that. Sula. Ang actually ako dito sa mura ISA akmara weekend mo timam dara wa isir ka irmang hoy. Sel ISA International Seabed Mining Authority. Hoy. Akmo kada morsel mo give a statement riyet kita ata igel bulul wa da bil elisel wase medong li tialo ngis antil mongil subel. Ilagda tamalit tial karagel gitu osperia tial tayayor rogien. Esel klungera soril mi sini ada kal gegre muak klungela ablura Europe. Hindi kita diri ang narme sa trampa se bon timongi se de tia kamo ba permit el mi. Anyway, ato kora kaya se ugid mara andi close to trela adi gid tanda at sabed namo dori seven il blue abanget kita mle first namo dori seven blue abanget kada mo gid mo botong masel do duram brela Orang kan pergi berleverage gitu. Kursa sometimes sa Trump sa dekat sa loreng sergit hindi kada malasam lo special international bodies and mo do arab. De momrele of course kada mora Washington DC more economic consultation hopefully more tele da mesa Secretary of Interior and some others. And then the other return am namo August but sulang ra timam dalo ay sirala kaman mo sigara gede optik na but sulang akran mga sulang media ng artiang lastly kita am dingin wase the blue recognize tigil ukto ko bet set sales so there's five lada tanjo bir tire al sales 4 o tiam nak muri multiam 4 So, though happy birthday, congratulations. Mga tarag yung dorang asulir, pira super adre bela rogui. Livan Chin, ngara sele National Weather Service rigid. Ma Minister Obia, Dwayne Masami, ngara ARF. Ma Bradford Ngiragev, ngara Ministry ko. Ngara Minister of Health, Vice President. Ma Luxon, CFIX, ngara Harris Elementary School. Makadamal maring asulir malon ngitra tangat and mortir makaltangat and marbek la adar belaw mauk rutel me Vice President, ya mo ora sa press conference rin. Okay, sulang.